Welcome to Answers from the Universe and the Andronicus transmissions on Wolf Spirit Radio, Ever Beyond Radio, and Studio 9 Jam on YouTube. With your host, Jessica Ariel Morocco, featuring JP as the voice of Andronicus. Please visit www.readingsbyrael.com, that's ARAEL.
From the future, by way of past, I bought my ticket for the 15th century. We started moving through a hole in history.
You're listening to Wolf Spirit Radio.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today at Answers from the Universe. And I'm your host, Jessica Ariel Morocco, and here with JP.
Hello, hello.
And hello.
I just needed to say that because I need to get a level myself. I know if I'm overdriven there. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Yeah, it's a real thin balance, you know, a real little balance there. So now I can bring you up. There we go, and we should be kind of balanced and on a slightly different part of the stereo spectrum if you're listening on headphones, which is that great stereo experience that we have. So there we go. Jess, how are you doing, love?
Yeah, pretty good. And whatever it did, it got the dog barking, so.
You know what the dogs are like, you know, they'll bark at any opportunity. Yeah. It's the morning. I love this.
It's a tonal thing, right?
I love barking. It's my favorite thing. So, yes, so where should we go today? Where are we going today?
It's really kind of interesting because I didn't think I was going to have anything, and that happens every week, and then all of a sudden, look who shows up. We have, what do we have? 6, 7 different messages. It's kind of, I don't know is that breaking a record? Typically we have about up to 5.
I mean, yeah, there's been quite a few. I don't know, I'm gonna have to, eventually database this whole thing. And,
No, you know what? I think there is only 6. Because I had Mars up twice. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right.
So yeah, we're gonna be here from Mars today.
Mars. And yeah, I got a new jingle for Mars.
I've been communicating with him for a while. What I could do, actually, maybe I should bring that back up again. No.
Nah, maybe. Maybe not.
Maybe it belongs somewhere else in another time.
Okay.
All right, so, let's see, where do we start? Lots and lots of stuff happening. I'm just getting this constant flow of information. I don't know what to do with it other than to write it down. I apologize if I'm not able to fully sort through everything. I just, and I just feel like I'm the radio station in the radio station.
That's right. It's like the
transmitting
the little,
information.
well, we have what we call a relay. For listening to Revolution Radio when I'm not producing it, I have a little computer that is a relay, and that's what you're doing as well. You're relaying from one place into our central zone and into our heartland. And much appreciated it is.
And so I wanted to, it's wonderful when I'm experiencing these things. I'm looking at it and saying, wow, that's really cool. But I think it's really important that other people are able to extract the information. And then I have so many different people kind of chiming in and saying, hey, that's interesting because I was studying that recently, and it seems like there's a little bit of information for everyone. And for those that weren't anticipating on getting the information, it starts activating and stirring and awakening and doing something very, very interesting to people that I would have never imagined. So I'm glad that I'm able to write it down according to the medium that was on Max's show, that it's going to be even more. But I kind of knew that already, that the information was going to continue to flow through. Some of my daily experiences have been interesting, and I've hit some highs and lows regarding it. And of course, life generally moves on. Try to be in the moment and take from it whatever is necessary. My visit to Earthlands about over a week ago was very, very, very nice for me to be able to experience and understand that there is a community that exists not very far from me, and they're embracing a lot of the thoughts and mentality of a lifestyle that is very, very interesting. Really just resetting back to the way we should be, and that's living off the earth and having everything organic and natural. And now if we can only control the chemtrails and get them out of the sky, stop polluting our airway.
Yeah. Well, we produce chi. If a community can produce enough chi with having pyramids and orgon, they'll actually, the chemtrails won't stay. There'll be a big disk in the sky where there won't be any chemtrails when you get the chi right. And that's something a community can do using, orgon generators and stuff like that. I love Larry. We really want to, we've been buzzing about him all week. And everybody in the chat, well, particularly Vanessa, she's really switched on by it. And by the way, happy birthday, Vanessa. She's,
happy birthday, Vanessa.
Vanessa's our chat room moderator and forum moderator and general kind of mummifier. She's not mummifier. She mummies everybody by, just making sure that everybody's there in the right place at the right time without nagging too much. She's really good. So, happy birthday, Vanessa. Happy solar return.
Happy birthday.
Yes. So, so what you're talking about with Larry, a lot of it is what we do here in Findhorn.
Yes.
We've got the alternative.
There's a bridge.
Yeah.
We established a bridge.
Yeah.
I have, this is what's going on near me, and that's what's going on near you. Mm-hmm. We're connecting a bridge and helping people to see that it doesn't matter where you live, that there are people that desire to return back and have the same mindset. I will say that Findhorn was very, very inspirational and had influenced Larry, who was the founder, and had this land and chose to use it to help others, not just for his own self-gain, or just to be there by himself, which is fine if a person chooses to do that. But he enjoys the fact of opening it up to the public and allowing people to come in and experience what it's like to be there, what it's like to just take in the earth. And there's many places that are local. People can go for walks and stroll through the forest. They can go near the beach. Hiking, there's the Appalachians. You can go up north. The White Mountains are amazing. And there's a lot of things to take in. Unfortunately, people are so caught up in their life that they're missing a lot of it. And so, Larry is one of those people that reminds us to return back. And, coming from his community, I met some very, very interesting people. I was only there a couple days. But I met some very, very interesting people. And today we'll have John Root on, who's going to talk about his concept of commerce. And, actually gleaning from the way that the Native people regarded commerce and his feelings towards what's going on right now. And of course, they're founded on many truths that we already know. I told them, you'll be preaching to the choir, but they'll probably find it very refreshing and glean from a lot of what you're saying. And so he will be on the last half hour at 3:30 till 4. So those that you don't want to miss John Root when he comes on. And let's see, I'm trying to think of anything else that we want to include as a pre-discussion, or maybe we should just...
people can also come along and see the website building up as it is, or should we just leave it until, we're working with Olivia. Olivia's brilliant. Again, we want to say thank you to Olivia for all her just amazing work. She's just manifesting what we're thinking. And she's loving doing it, and we're loving doing it, and it's a lovely loving feeling. So it's really good.
She's a wonderful gift to us.
Yes.
We're
Gift.
so
What a
appreciative.
great word. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a gift, and you know, this is expanding of the Andronicus family to kind of bring in all these different people to help in you know, making some of these things happen. So we have the website that's building, and she, like I said, this is on her own time, and she's really, you know, is very cohesive in her thought process of putting it all together. So I'm pretty grateful for that, and thank you so much for assisting with that. We enjoy her company too. Olivia's, you know, is a wonderful personality and is a joy to discuss with, and highly interesting.
Yeah,
And
she's definitely like there's a lot of sparking going on. Really good, really very creative.
Yeah, creative and just intelligent in her perspective and the way she looks at things. So, like I said, she's a gift to what's going on right now, and we appreciate it. And you know, we open the door for anyone else that wants to join and be creative with us to get the information out. So anyhow, and of course, you know, we welcome donations, you know, towards the website and also to Wolf Spirit Radio, which, you know, we want to support always and to keep this network going, and all the people that are being able to receive and learn and gather information, and also come together as a network community to hear information you're not going to hear elsewhere. So thank you. Keep this in mind. Anyhow, so JP, anything else that we need to know that you can think of?
I'm just trying to think. Can I think? I haven't been able to think for weeks. I haven't had enough sleep. I'm just like responding to one request after another. And please, if anybody is like, oh, you haven't responded, just get back in touch. Things are getting busy. I understand Simon's position right now. I really do. There are requests coming from all sorts of things. And also, please, don't send me emails. Yeah, it's just rubbish. It's just like I have to wade through so much spam to get to good emails. Please don't send me emails and try and expect that I'm going to connect back with you. Use my website. That's the best way of getting a message to me if you don't know me. Use my website contact form, and that will do it. Ever Beyond Radio. Having said that.
Yeah, and people are welcome to contact me through my email at I'll just say Jessica at readingsbyariel.com. It's ARAEL.com. And of course, my website is www.readingsbyariel.com. So if anyone has any questions, you're looking for a session. I also have been a bit overwhelmed and trying to keep up with everything. People have contacted me. So sorry for the delay. There's been some issues, and I think I like JP, got a little tired and wasn't able to keep up with everything, needed to get some rest. So
we're all getting
I
roasted.
apologize.
Yeah. Please,
Yes.
you know, everybody's getting roasted and everybody's feeling very pressured, and everybody's applying pressure to other people to try and fix their stuff. It's not, you can't get anybody to fix your stuff. The only person who's going to fix your stuff is you. And the thing that Jess and I both tell you is you breathe. This is the best way of fixing your stuff, is to actually breathe. Because you know how everything feels better when you've had a sleep? Well, it's because when you're sleeping, you breathe properly. And when you wake up, you stop breathing and you start thinking. And that's when all the trouble starts. So if you find yourself overwhelmed, just take a moment, just stand where you are and just take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Do 3 of those and that'll clear you for the next moment. So that's my advice. What do you think, Jess? Do you think people will take me up on that?
Yes, I think they should. I mean, that's really the only way out, and that's the quickest, the most sensible way to do it. And and it's usually the first thing that stops when people are full of stress and they have problems and they just stop breathing. They're holding their breath.
Yeah.
And I'll tell someone, just breathe. And then all of a sudden they just deflate, you know, It's like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I forgot about that. I mean, their breath's so shallow. You could actually see it, you know, the face is turning blue and ready to explode.
Yeah, that's right.
Just
You're showing all the symptoms of hypoxia, my dear. And really, you know, hypoxia is the source of all of the diseases in the world. If I may put a little, contentious statement out there, because oxygen solves it, you know. Anything that can be cured by hydrogen peroxide therapy or, you know, breathing or sleeping, it's because of hypoxia. We just need to breathe into these places. Anyway, so that's giving the game away. You can do your own therapy for free now. But if you need constant reminding, that's what we can do. We can just nag you into breathing until you're at the end of the session, you're through the emotion, you've cleared it. There we go.
Yeah. So you're just kind of walking away and saying, all right, I'm going to breathe right now.
That's right.
All right, JP, I hear you. All right.
So, having said that, whose communications shall we start with today? We have quite a smorgasbord.
Yeah. Well, I think we should start with the star of the show, is Andronicus.
There we go.
So this is Andronicus. What number is this? This is
57.
Number 57. Yeah, we're getting close
57.
to
These are Heinz.
transmissions.
So, Heinz, Andronicus, 57.
Heinz 57.
My feet are set upon the planet, but my heart is elsewhere. I feel like I'm in a fog, and my heart is so heavy, like lead in my feet. I don't want to walk. My heart says to run fast and hard, get away from this journeying, leave aside all memories of why I carry on as I do. I don't want to go on this way anymore.
Where are you now? Are you on Earth?
No, Suma. After our last discussion, I realized everything you said was true. My wife did not love me, and I had many experiences of betrayal in my future. I see you now, lovely as ever before, understanding in a quiet way. At first I was deeply angered, and then it began to subside like a large wave of water consuming me. The depths of the water then consumed me, and I experienced death over and over and over again, until I stopped, breathed, and abandoned the futile effort to kill myself as an immortal. The depth of anger rolled over me that it was all futile. You don't know the misery of being an immortal until you discover that there is such cruelty and malice to not be able to depart when you desire to. We are given the entire universe to tread upon, to change, to lift or bury, yet we are like the living dead at times. Unloved, uncared for, drifters without purpose, sorrow upon sorrow. Could this account for our extreme behavior? Yes. I will say we have a fortitude unlike any other species, to have the knowledge and understanding that we must depart when it is time to depart. Unlike many other species, we don't desire to bring others down with us. Instead, we put on the walking shoes and step upon the planets of uncharted knowledge, unattached to the forces of nature and disengaged by our lonely existence. We are in a trauma, yet we heal wonderfully with the simplest of things. Our gatherings are simple. Our connections are unimaginable to you.
So tell me, Andronicus, where are you now?
I'm walking on the dust of Saturn above the craggy spikes of stone. It is exhilarating. Saturnus, my ancient, lay quietly in his tomb of stasis. I can hear his breath shake the planet. I remember his eyes when he is awakened, sharp and clear, untainted by the wind or dark edge of night. He drifts and floats upon the rainbow lights of rings, the rainbow bridge that leads to elsewhere, if one knows how to tarry that way.
Are you going to awaken him while you're there?
If I do, something might arise from him. Each time he awakens, the star seeds are affected. He is as a clock ticking, and then stops, then begins, then stops, then ticks to an undetermined time. Unpredictable in so many ways. No one is ever able to figure him out. We all find him fascinating and crucial to our existence. In many ways, he is like us. In many ways, he is my elder brother, as I am Jupiter. But there is very little history, because he cannot be encapsulated into one life form, because he lives on many spheres at once.
Is he typically in stasis?
Yes, and that is the reason why I've come here. To check on him and make sure he is safe. We don't want to move him. Too much negative activity has occurred on this space. If I came to you, would you help me?
I would try. I don't know how I could possibly help you.
I know I've played out the role of a romantic, but actually, I'm looking for a friend. I need someone to talk to, and you're always there to listen.
I'm here, Andronicus. I can feel you're troubled.
I broke up a field of free-floating rocks. They turned to dust and ash. I needed a place to extract my feelings. I don't want to harm any. Even the rocks moan from the destruction. I then burrowed deep into the planet. I'm feeling much better after the fact. Then I began to notice the beauty around me, and things began to lift. The secret is to be in the moment and notice what exists around you. It has done a world of good to my journey. Thanks for listening. Come again to me. How cute.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he just, needed to get away.
Yeah. And it's all about being in the moment. He's spot on, that's the nugget of the week. When you're in the moment, then you're like an immortal, and then everything's good. When you're not, you get into fear,
Yeah.
all those other dark modes, which, as he says, we're such immortal beings that when we're sad, this accounts for our extreme behavior. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Like the living dead, because it doesn't matter. So you can be really extreme, jump off a mountain. Who cares? It's just that'll hurt. Oh, better. So
I wanted to say maybe we can play a song.
Yeah, you need a tune.
Need a tune, yeah.
Oh, okay. Tunes are not as easy this week, but I can do it. I
have one though.
Have you? What you got?
Yeah, let's see.
Oh, I've got tunes here.
No. Oh, hold on a second. Wrong.
Huh.
Wrong message.
Look, I'll just put this on. I'm gonna put
Wait
on.
a second.
Jess, can I just put
yeah.
on some music?
Yeah, I was gonna say Magic Carpet Ride by Steppenwolf. Can you get that?
All right, hang on. Web browser. Yes, keep talking.
So anyhow, I thought that was quite interesting that he ended up going there, and ended up of all places on Saturn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't seem like there was anyone there. You know how they talk about all these different visitors on that planet.
Yeah. It sounded like he was running around the rings as well. Think about the rainbows and on the rocks. Because Saturn's a gas giant, isn't it? Obviously there's a rocky bit at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
But Saturn's a lot of gas, very dense gas. But the rings are rocky. And the rings are apparently bits of Maldek.
Oh.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Like an asteroid field?
Yeah, it's the dust from an asteroid field, and it's like a big aerial, big antenna. Mm-hmm. Anyhow, I've got Steppenwolf. Are you ready?
Yes.
Welcome back.
Hello.
Steppenwolf. Step on that wolf in the Wolf Spirit Radio, yeah. I seem to have gone a little, how you say, slightly German. Anyway, meanwhile...
At stately Wayne Manor.
Yep, meanwhile...
We're going to Kraton next.
We're going to Kraton, right, now. Kraton was the big fella with the reverb, wasn't he?
Yes,
Right.
it was. As long as people can understand what he's saying.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll just give it a bit of...
Bit of reverb.
A bit of reverb.
Oh, just to let you know that Tectatron's in trouble.
Oh. Tectatron. Well, he's nobody's favourite, is he? Sorry.
No.
I'm sure that nobody's got much sympathy for that. Hello. No. Let's see, can I
Yeah,
hear?
that was interesting.
Right, so there should be a little bit of reverb, but hang on, let me just take off these. Aha. Yes. Okay. Alright, so I've got a jingle lined up for Kaleeb as well later.
Okay.
So,
Kaleeb comes right after Kraton.
okay, so Kraton, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think he was one of these. No, not that one. There has been a forward advancement, and we did not surrender our prisoners who fell deep into the well of darkness. They shall remain there until all is said and done. Kaleeb and I have come to an agreement, and there is wellness in mind, soul and body for those who seek humility and sorrow for their deeds. The weight of darkness can then be lifted by themselves if they so choose. I do not find pleasure in this hour of waking. The crypts are full of souls unfinished. Much has amassed upon the earth and much needs to be attended to. All of this is labor to me. I find no joy in it and await the time when the darkness can flow in its proper place. We are directing much of our attention to those of another station above humanity, those who are told and should know better. After dealing with Zoroaster and his many deeds of destruction, I am reviewing all aspects of the foundations for other issues that needed to be attended to. It was brought to my attention that you interacted with the Lucido. Well done in orchestrating a harmonious communication with them. Too often, many end up in battles with them. I know they can be difficult, but they have been violated and prevented from doing their work. Moreover, they are doing my work and they assist me in properly distributing the contrasting energies throughout the galaxy. It benefits all who exist on multiple dimensional planes. It is surprising they don't object to your presence. They seem to be somewhat fond of you and regard you as one of them. I don't quite understand it, but it is rumored that you were there long ago as a part of their early existence. They have a name for you. Do you know what that is?
No? What do they call me?
Kito Amo Shaniri.
That's funny. They're familiar in a way.
They said you giggled when they said it to you. Do you remember what that name means?
No. What does it mean?
Blue friend with shining eyes. They are amusing.
That's funny. Are they the ones who told me that they were my brother, and when I said no, because I saw what they looked like, and then they said, I am your sister?
Yes. They tug on you when you speak with them. You are not allowed to hear them at all times because they have work to do.
Why is it that their voices sounded like 3 overtones when I heard them last?
Because they were not supposed to be speaking to you then. Actually, you came into their space and requested a visit. Subconsciously, of course.
So they enter the black holes for a reason. That is why they were speaking with me. They were very present on the dark side of the moon.
Yes, they are.
I actually visited them there. I don't know how I arrived there, but I could see them very clearly. I requested for myself and a friend if we could be free from the lunar field. They said that we were both free to leave, and this is aspects of ourselves that we recognize were there. And then I mentioned something about, they mentioned something about Corey Good. And then they went on to tell me that they needed to navigate to each planet in our solar system to move through these portals for a purpose. So I was curious and asked them why. And they went on to say that it was how it was designed. As if they are the workers of the solar system keeping things clear in some way. The part that was troubling was that some other species have been preventing them from doing their work. I never found out who those species were.
Let me take a look at that. Ah, yes. It is a few have allied against them. Surprising to see the Pleiadians involved in this. I thought they might have learned. One of the primary conflicts for them have been with the Arcturians, who have made it their primary focus to attack their lodgings. They appear very humanoid at times, and this further exacerbated the relationship with humanity and them. I had to help them see the difference. As soon as I did, they sent emissaries down to assist the plight of humanity. Not long ago, you helped them on a mission to capture the Arcturians in their intrusion on Earth, manipulating the reality to mask their activities. Many of the ships were removed by the Lucido. Many of the Arcturians will have to remain on the planet to see what it is like to be without power and have to discover another way for survival. It will be a hard lesson for them, although they will be grateful they did not have to face me yet. They would like to remove the one you call Tectatron. He has been troublesome to you and integrated into your field to cause you harm. We are having trouble finding them. Help us locate them and it will be done.
Thank you, Kraton. He is really heartless and cruel. And can I ask more about your interactions with Kaleeb before I go?
Let Kaleeb tell you himself. I think we were both reasonable in our requests and came to a natural mutual agreement. Tell Primus and Ketron I can hear their requests as well. Be strong and vigilant. Kraton. Oh, surprisingly, he has a kind of lighter feel.
Yeah,
he's like he's not got stuff. He's not grinding on stuff.
No.
Good,
no.
Good, well done.
No, he's kind of dispersing some of that energy and clearing the way. I mean, he had his words with Kaleeb. They actually, encountered they had a battle of sorts, but maybe not in the traditional way that we would see it. And it ended in negotiations. So things kind of came back to where they should be. And interesting to hear what Kaleeb has to say about it afterwards. I thought it was funny, his kind of thoughts about the Lucido, who are who may be the Emerthers. I'm not positive, but definitely gray species. And they're like quite funny.
Like a maintenance crew to me, that's what they're sounding like. That they, like a road sweeper is not the person who built the road, neither the person who uses the road. Is just somebody who keeps the road clean. You don't need a high consciousness to do that. You just need to know how to keep the road clean.
Well, in their own way, that they do have a high consciousness, and they were one of the species that were very violated. And it's like you said, if you're going to mistreat the people that are, holding things together, it's like attacking,
Opinions.
like the blue collar people who are, building and taking care of the roads, and you start attacking them, or the ones that take out the trash. And before you know it, it evolves into something else.
Yeah, well, look, if you stop people taking up the trash will build up and build up. Diseases will come. Sickness and death and destruction and decay will occur without, it's like you have to have a butt. Otherwise everything builds up. So, shall we go on to Kaleeb and, what's going on behind you? Is there a chainsaw massacre going on? I can't hear any screaming.
I don't understand. It's probably close to 100 degrees out there, and someone just feels compelled to pull out some power tools. I don't understand. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to close a window, okay?
Maybe for a little while, at least.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Go for it. Go for it. I mean, go. It's,
okay.
It's very interesting. I'll fill it. It's a very interesting thing about what Kraton was, the energy that I was getting through it. It was very, he was talking about the Arcturans, he was talking about the Pleiadians, and the long ongoing war between all these different people. Mentioned Corey Good. So, yeah. And indeed, are you back, blue friend with shining eyes? No, not quite yet. Hello, Jess.
Hello.
Yeah.
Well, I think the Arcturians sent this one over. It's a young kid blowing leaves.
The leaf blowers. The Mexican leaf blowers. They're like little jetpacks.
There are probably like 5 leaves out there. I mean, it's not as like it's the fall right now. I don't know. Just had this compulsion, I guess. But yeah, it feels very Arcturian right now.
All right. Okay. So let's get to Kaleeb, shall we? Let's. So now Kaleeb, not very good with Middle Eastern accents, but he has a Middle Eastern kind of vibe, doesn't he?
Yeah, he sure
Okay,
does.
so I've got this jingle here, or this tune sort of thing. Check this. Hello, Suma. I know I don't speak with you much, but I am a man of few words. It was troubling to you than many that I had a conflict with Kraton. We don't battle as you do. It is regarding territory and harmony on the upper glacial fields. I am now here, back on my pinnacle resting, taking in the sun and colloidal field of brilliant lights. It is breathtaking as my father is so brilliant and vibrant as nothing else. He sits upon the sun and makes it appear pale. I wanted to absorb the light after spending time in the dull blackness of Kraton's reality. That alone made me shudder. I thought for a moment, is this what I am striving for? To be in the contrast when I have the sun at my feet and the glory of light all around me. I thought, never shall I desire to be in such a contrast again. Allow the nations to war, allow the black holes to disappear. I don't want to partake in it any more. I am now closing the gate. Let another join this folly, but for me I shall rest heavily upon the sun and my father's good graces. You realize he gives this generous gift to you all. I don't begrudge Kraton's power any more. Very few can thrive in such an environment. Even the bottom of my feet repels such density and darkness. I only wanted to strain within to find all the fog dreary and unbecoming.
I'm glad that it's over between the two of you.
You do not need to worry any more. There's much to be learned by many still. As for me, I have chosen the light of my father. Go now in peace. Your work is being acknowledged, though you feel weary too. It is not easy to tread in muddy waters. But some go there to find the lost. Go now. I shall help you fly through the rivers with ease. Tell Aslim his words are being heard.
Kaleeb, one very important request. Can you help assist peace in the Middle East? Can you tell your people not to die for religion, not to harm others over war? That doesn't make sense. Can you show them what you showed me?
Your words are heard, and I will send many jinn to assist your work and help bring things back to order.
Thank you, Kaleeb. We love you.
I wish we had spoken long ago. Maybe we could have avoided such much of this sorrow.
I agree. But now it is time for it to be so.
I can have more of that.
Perfect.
Sands of Arabia. Well, oh bless. Oh, that was sweet.
Yeah.
There's some really
a lot of
nice
good
love
messages
energies
today,
tonight.
aren't there?
Loving, beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. And I really do feel the different character. I really felt this kind of, again, they're all very fatherly. They all have different aspects of being fatherly. And, you're very Middle Eastern fatherly, it's like big broad arms. You're welcome. It's like really swinging his arms wide, being able to hold a lot of people in his arms and heart,
Yeah. Well, he's like the king of Persia, you know. He's got that
kind of thing.
very, very exotic look, dark hair, and very, very quiet, though, stoic in a lot of ways, as opposed to, some of them are very boisterous and very strongly opinionated. There's the spokesperson, there's the different aspects of how their personality is comes forward, and Andronicus, of course, is like the average person. I mean, there's nothing about him that expects and demands glory. He's had his moments, I'm sure, but he would rather just go for a stroll.
Yeah.
And be completely satisfied with that.
I can really relate to that. Because that's the sign of somebody who really doesn't want power, but has it, put upon them. Because nobody else feels that they have the strength that he just is. I mean, his isness is so strong that people take that for him being a god. And therefore completely powerful, all powerful. And sometimes the amount of loosh that people give to people like that actually gives them superpowers in the first place. But, we know that Andronicus already had power. People nick it all the time. He's been, women kind of jag it out of him all the time. It's like nibbles like guppies, enough guppies can eat a treasury.
Right.
People in the chat room are quite surprised that, jinn could be put to good use.
The jinn were mistreated and they were enslaved by their masters. And so, in the reality of Kaleeb, they are beings, they're supporters, they're helpers. The jinn were not always bad. The jinn were there to help with wishes and bringing things forward. So, it's the con. They've known them as more in the contrast, but they're powerful beings that could be used for a lighter purpose.
So, we have a caller. Who's calling 940?
I don't know.
Who's that?
I have no idea.
I'm not asking you, Jessica. Who's that? 940, hello. You called in to Wolf Spirit Radio? You're on the air? No, you're not. Okay, well, I'll just drop. Hello? Hello? Bye-bye. Yeah, bye-bye. Sorry. Oh, well. Wrong number. All right, okay, so
Probably wasn't aware.
Yeah, all right, so, look, here's a version of Steppenwolf, that, I did with my band. How about some of that, then?
Okay.
You fancy that? That's, this is, Depression. Welcome back. Yes,
So
there you go.
we're back and enjoying a little bit of Steppenwolf. today. That's the second song, and that was a band that you were in, JP.
Yeah, that was me playing guitar, and love that stuff. Love it,
and
absolutely.
You were on Facebook. There's some little footage there that you could see you from. Was it how many years ago? 8, 9 years ago.
It was actually almost exactly 10 years ago. 8 years ago, because it was the 8th of the 8th, 2008.
So then we had the 8/8, 2016, and Viking and I were talking about this being the Lionsgate, and he had all the information. He was going to join us today, and I wish that he had 8/8/16. So you have 4 8s there.
Yeah.
From numerology. What was interesting
Sorry,
is
I was thinking
at an
4
event
flat
on
ladies,
Saturday.
bingo. Yes. Sorry. Back to your serious point.
Okay. What did you do? You put in.
What's that?
I was at an event on Saturday, and I just, people were asking me questions, and we were sort of in a deep, meditative state, and things were coming up, and I said, "Oh, the Lion's Gate has opened." I had no idea why I said that. And as I was talking to Viking, and he said, it's the Lion's Gate opening. And I'm like, what? I said, I don't even know where that came from, but he confirmed it. So it was 8/8/16. And now you're reflecting on the time when you were in a band on 8/8/8. Is that correct?
That's right.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah,
so,
all comes round and round and round and round and round, isn't it?
Yeah, we're going to have Viking come on and explain to us what the Lionsgate means to him at some point, or we may be opening that discussion up on the interstellar group that we do once a month. So we'll just keep you posted on that. Anyhow, Vanessa says JP has too much fun with the show. But you deserve to have fun, JP.
Yeah,
so do I.
I'm thinking, if I could rearrange my week somehow, to make things a little more sort of fitting in, compact for me, and just in case we get other producers. I still love to do this show. Of course I love, this, I can't not do this show, but, to not have to do the rest of the broadcast before and after, because it does take a lot of energy to focus all of these, in fact, it seems to, it exercises a lot of energy. Let's say it that way. So it's not like I'm tired, but it's like I'm a hose pipe that's been used a bit. I'm sure you feel like that too. It's like, and there's no word there's no way you can describe this to people, but it just feels like, yeah, I'm feeling energized, but I need to go away somewhere and just kind of allow I feel like, one of those exploded diagrams where you see all the different parts. It's like part of your molecule system is like that, and it needs to just kind of recondense a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's what it is. I tell people I just need that time to be quiet and just allow this stuff to just resonate and do whatever it needs to do, and and then breathe a bit and then go out and enjoy life a little bit. So you need a break in between. It's very intense energy, and it's hard to keep in that frequency all the time.
That's right.
But I want to move on because we do have John coming up on our guest.
Mars.
We're going to go into Rhodan.
All right, hang on a second. There's that caller again. Let's see what they want. Hello. You're live on the air. Hello, who's that?
My name's Anthony.
Hello, Anthony. You're calling in live to Answers from the Universe.
Yeah. Actually, we've been looking forward to talking to somebody for a while now. On Wolf Spirit Radio a while back, and I've been coming in looking for live broadcasts. Something about the energy, the vibes from talking to like-minded people.
Thank you.
Halfway across the world, you know what I mean?
Yes, indeed. So, do you have a quick question? Because we got quite a lot going on this week. So, or do you just want to say hello? So it's very nice to say hello. Thank you.
Talking about energy, and you said you were trying to explain something that you couldn't really find a word for it.
Yeah.
What, can I ask you something? Do you meditate?
Loads.
I'm sorry?
Loads. Lots. Yes.
Loads? What's your preferred form of meditation? Do you listen to music or sit?
No, I just stop.
Mind, or nature or anything like that?
I just stop and sit quietly and breathe, and then everything just drops back into place. That's the way I do it. I just need time. That's like exactly what
you already know.
what we just said. It's exactly what we just said. That's how we come back together. We just need some time and space, and just kind of allow the different parts.
You need a lot of just time, quiet time, and meditating, and you never know what can happen. But at least will help you to relax
it's all about
in life.
Regaining the control of your inner frequency with all the scattered wavelengths that are going on in your head.
Yeah, well,
the human brain can hold trillions and trillions of data, of thoughts, and sometimes people in society like to put labels on it and call you attention deficit hyperactive disorder and stuff like that, if you have a low attention span. But really, it's just those with more scatterbrains are the ones that will find more powerful benefits from meditation. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Anthony, where are you from?
Difficult.
Where are you from,
I'm
Anthony?
American, Texas.
From Texas?
Where y'all located at? For you all, I guess, to say.
Well, you can see JP and the network is located in Scotland, very close to Findhorn, and I'm close to Boston, Massachusetts. So this is my show. Thank you for coming in, saying hello, and talking about meditation. And are you able to listen in?
Oh yeah, I'm listening right now. It was a little delayed though, so forgive my randomness. I was trying to figure out what I was going to say when I called, but he was talking about something to do with that, and it just triggered. The topic about meditation, so I just figured I'd call and give you all a shout.
All right, so come to the web page to Wolf Spirit Radio, and there's plenty of people you can chat to, and go to the forum as well, and you can really start conversations, get going there. Thank you very much for calling, Anthony. See you later.
No problem.
Thank you, Anthony.
There we go. So, meanwhile, shall we go to Mars?
No, we're going to Rhodan.
Rhodan,
Rhodan, Odin,
Osiris, Apollo.
Whoever you want to call them.
Oh my God. So, now I think he had something like one of these.
Here's a lightning bolt.
Oh yeah, alright. Wrong, yeah, well, you got me. Yeah. That's the one. Right, okay, here we go. I've been overseeing the adjustments on all levels and dimensions. It has been brought to my attention that those within my inner circle have been orchestrating contentions upon the planet Earth. You are all members of my alliance, and yet there is dissension. Some elders have pointed out that you and the human race and those carrying the light of Source are not yet evolved. They have claimed that there is too much to learn and none of you are learning it. As the clock ticks in time, we discover that we are still waiting for your ascension, halting much of our work to assist in an ongoing alignment with truth. I am troubled to discover that it was not you, humankind, that is in dissension. It was not you, humankind, who have been deliberately halting the effects, the organizations, the agreements, the harmony on the planet, but rather my very own council members stirring the pot. The pain, the suffering, the sorrow, the confusion, the bewilderment, all brought upon the selfish controllers who did not want you to arise to your new status of being. It was not obvious to me. It wasn't obvious to anyone. They went down many channels like a link in a chain. They became the uplink and would channel down information until it arrived at the receiver of, or carrier of contention going forth. It was like a subtle stream of water that built and grew as it flowed down to expand like a mighty river while overtaking everything in its way. Until now. We had laid a trap. It was upon the precipice of Kaleeb's kingdom where he left it open and unguarded. We announced his entrance into the Foundations where he had an encounter with Kraton. This is where they fought over the souls of ancient Persia and clan of Xerxes. and planet that exists today. They would frequently come into the human sphere. They would frequently come into the human sphere to dominate and rule within governments, lands, and capture fame and lush from humanity. And capture fame and loosh from humanity under the guise of leadership and guidance. What they didn't understand was that they had their own planet to dwell upon and to do as they please. This didn't satisfy their gluttonous hearts and thirst for fame and glory. I had to put a stop to it. Humanity was sinking deeper and deeper into a state of separation from Source. They were as having lead shoes to weigh them down into the depths of darkness, thus ending up in the black hole of non-existence. What right had they to suffer so many to a place of darkness? It is time for them to face their destiny. Not only have we taken this space from them, but we have also taken their planet from them. It shall become a refuge for many souls and other species who have suffered the most. In time, this lesson will be widespread and an example for all to follow. This leads me to the current problems on Mars and the lunar field. There has been much curiosity regarding the galactic spaces. I decided that the activity would balance itself out. I know the great hardship that Mars had suffered and the repeated violations upon his planet had occurred. Even today, many species upon the planet have been violated. Because of your interaction, we'll only hold the parties responsible and not the entire human race. There is much to be said about your work. You don't do anything out of selfishness, but rather the collective whole, and I honor your requests. Very few know and understand why you work wholeheartedly for the planet. This further proves who you are, a true ancient of our species. You remember what this planet was for and the sacred loving souls it was founded upon.
I remember all of these things. Each soul is a remnant of one whole, the true light of the divine. None should be mistreated and unloved, and yet this is going on all around us. They have laid humanity to suffer such atrocities. They have announced themselves to be our way-showers. They tread heavily upon our sacred spaces and cut the planet like a foul rock. They suck the life flow out of minerals, oils, and all essentials that prevent collapse. They burden our waters with such toxicity that we're in a horrible disarray. They assume that they can fly off to other terrains, and yet we are left with nothing. A dark, hollow shadow for a future after destroying the lifeblood of all living things here on the planet. Gaia could not forbear it. Petra can't even address it. She was so shocked by the destruction. It is as if we had taught all to disgrace their own mother and destroy her very breath and life force. This is not the nature of humanity. The womb was not a place for hatred. Then why do so many express this? Humanity looks eye to eye, one to another, each holding the DNA that is shared amongst humankind, and yet they can kill and destroy one another. Are we not like Cain and Abel, brother against brother, sister against sister, father against mother? Our families are war-torn. Our children are refugees roaming about the nation, not knowing who they are and why they are born. Even the most affluent and entitled homes could not flee from this horrible experience. I plead for peace upon the home and the school and the church and all we encounter. I plead for peace in our governments. Is there anything else more important upon this sector or proving ground of a civilization? Can I contend even further that love has been torn from humanity like a cutting vice, or as if we were all stung by the poisonous asp or scorpion, having humanity in the balance of life hanging loosely upon a cliff?
We hear you very clearly, and none of your words fall on deaf ears. We are pleased that at least one of you are devoted to this cause. Mars has been working for us and fighting against the intruders who wanted to further imprison humanity. More should respect and know his role. Ares has betrayed us and has left us with nothing. He was much too self-absorbed to notice anyone else's plight. I had allowed him into your field so he would get to know and remember you. But I have seen that he lacks any compassion and emotion towards anything other than what serves him. Unfortunately, at this point in your experience, you had nothing to offer him. We did this by design, so he would not later benefit by what you bring to the planet. He had the opportunity to turn things around long ago, and he chose to put fuel into the fire of wars. He's now paying for it. I have given Mars the role of being second in command to my army to clear the upper and lower levels of Earth. I will not rescue anyone who is in need and dares to journey upon his planet without consent. Thus it is so.
That was a little hostile there.
I pretty can't describe how useless that is. Sorry.
Okay.
Anyway, this is a one man or one woman show. We do
That's
it
right.
all.
You're
all
juggling, singing, and playing the drums all at the same time.
That's right. On a unicycle in hell, and everything's on fire. So, Rhodan. Yeah.
Yes.
We'd better move on. So let me, should we just kind of, go right through them? So what we got?
We're going to go to Mars next.
Mars. Let's go to Mars. Right. Now, where's Mars? I got a little Mars. There's Mars's, jingle here. There you go. It's been a dark journey. I refused to speak publicly until I was finished with the work that I needed to do. I'm reluctant and hesitant to say anything at all because the environment is not quite free yet. There's one thing I want you to know, is that I care about you very much and appreciate your help in clearing my name. Don't need to get into details, but so much has happened that you're not aware of. Primus, where did we go wrong in guiding the people? They all waited for our advice and we were caught up in our own stories. It was me, ego against ego, facing Phaeton. That left me blindsided. It was you, ensconced in a romance that was forever leading but never carrying through. Both learned such a hard lesson that all the time can't heal. I want you to share what you remember. There is much more that needs to be real, but that needs to be revealed. I am one of the driving forces behind you to unlock the mysteries hidden in our history. You're doing wonderfully. Tell everyone about Lyra. It was a perfect society in so many ways. I can't say much more at this time without causing levels of danger for so many innocent people and star beings. I sent Elysia to you, Primus. She was one of your dearest friends. I want you to remember her. She is your guiding through all of this and will bring in the final rays of hope. Just for the record, I'm not an uncivilized warrior, but rather a rational, sensible, and peace-loving being, as one could know. I adored my family and my wife. It is natural to want to protect those who you love and who are in danger. And one day we'll all be reunited again. Go now in peace and love. I am the watcher above the eaves. Until this battle is over, forever, my love. Forever. Ooh. Ding, ding. Cool. Wow, that was a bit emotional as well, you know?
Yeah. He remembers you.
Yeah, well, he's saying that I want you to share what you remember. There's more that needs to be revealed, and I'm one of the driving forces behind you to unlock the mysteries hidden in our history. The mysteries in the histories. How fascinating. Okay, quick spot.
Fascinating.
Yeah, see, we have a quick spot there. So I've got some of the things are working. I can play the jingle. I can do the, all that stuff. but it just won't play a tune or a show, you know, so it's messing up my ability to schedule things right. Anyway, so I'll stop whining. It's just the stuff, you know, it's just part of the way things are, but you know, one day I'll have a really cool studio and I'll just be able to press a button and stuff happens and it'll always happen and it'll never be on the wrong page and it'll just always happen. When I press the button, the thing will happen. But maybe I should just get a jingle machine. Alright. So anyway, but look, let's crack on, with, our final, thing, unless you got any,
No, you got Meetis and you need your guitar.
Oh, God. No, I've got to get up. Hang on.
Yeah. So anyhow, Mars mentions Lyra, and interesting what he says about it. So I think we could probably go on and talk more about that story at some point. We don't have enough time to get into that, but we should at some point.
Funny. As you were, you know, right, what he's saying is, you know, hello, Flower, would you like, hang on, let's just, you know, get crack on with
yeah,
Meetis.
where's the, intro to Meetis?
Hello, Flower. Would you like to dance with me? I'm with a Cockney crew today in 1963, playing what they call a harmonica and other instruments. We have a makeshift band that sounds quite nice, I might add. Tell me, is your life weighing you down a bit? I don't have much to tell you other than I have influenced much of the music you like today and in your childhood. I know you like, you fancy me, don't you? Too bold for you as usual. La la la. Well, let's get down to brass tacks. Steps on the wolf. Sounds familiar. Stepping wolf. Stepping wolf. I'm all over the place today. Have a barrel of laughs. I inspired a few songs like Magic Carpet Ride. I also inspired Jimi Hendrix to sing the song about Neptune to let you know that Kraton was quite angry at you and his warning was something that was going to hit the East Coast. Don't worry, love. I won't let anything happen, but please keep your distance from the crusty old crab. He's not doing well and you don't want to be the brunt of it. I know you can be quite charming, but even your charm cannot soothe his soul at this time. He may require more assistance from above, if you know what I mean. Some tender love to help his weary soul. His bite is too harsh for you, my dear. Here is a song from my friend Neptune. Okay. Yes. No, not in June. Today. So,
we are back.
Yeah, Jess, have your show back and take control.
Well, you know, I want to do a wonderful intro for, you know, like I said, it was a nice blessing that I was able to go over to Earthlands last week, and we last had, Larry Buell on, and this week I had a great conversation with this gentleman, John Root. And we just got into the whole topic of money, commerce, and he was talking about the wampum, which was. But I'm not going into that. I want John. I want you to introduce yourself and talk about your business and some of the things that you were discussing with me. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Okay, and thank you very much for having me. So why don't I just say just a little bit. When I was in high school, I discovered that money isn't valuable in itself, that it's a representation of value. And so when Nixon took us off the gold standard, I was really happy about that because I thought people would realize that money isn't, it isn't a receipt for gold. It's not valuable in itself. It's our creation. It's something that we, that we use. And it took me a really long time. I mean, I don't need to go into my whole biography, but it took me a really long time to realize that it's the monetary system that creates the existential fear, that creates the conditions that we're in that mean we don't really recognize and understand who we are. So if you take something like Alex Collier's point that that the Andromedans tell him that we don't understand. You know, the planet provides absolutely everything that you could ever need. Why would you have to pay to live on a planet you were born on? And it's like they just don't understand this. This is absurd. Well, it took me a long time to get to that place where I understood this is totally absurd. And I really wanted to understand money. So it's very interesting that when you look at what money is, it has nothing, there's nothing to it. It's completely abstract. It's completely an invention. It's totally useful. And the control of it is then completely obscure so that we have no idea. Generally, people don't have any idea about how the world really works and why things are the way they are. It goes back to the money. So the most important thing to do, and I mean, in a half an hour, we'll see where we go, but in a half an hour, you can't cover everything. So my point is that because money is an agreement, it's possible to make a different agreement about money. And we can make an agreement about money that allows us to create the money and control the money so that it actually serves us. So I'll give you a couple of examples of the kind of thing that I mean about money being abstract and an agreement. The amount of gold that's supposed to be backing the money has long been demonstrated it's not there. There is no gold in Fort Knox. You can't convert any of the world's currencies to gold directly. You can buy gold, but in the whole sort of way in which we experience our society, it's clear that the money is playing a dominant role, and that we don't actually understand who's issuing the money. If you ask people who's issuing our money, they tell you, generally speaking, that either they don't know or the government issues it. What do they ask what they issue it for? What do they issue the money for? And people look at you like you're crazy. Well, to pay people or what have you. So the entire control mechanism that we talk about in exopolitics, for example, the Draco and all of that. But all of that is actually encapsulated and manipulated from the monetary system, because all of our money is issued as debt to the banks. And I'm not talking about the credit union down the block or the savings and loan or the what have you, where the people who are running the bank don't understand this. But the point is that it's a mind control issue. It's something where because we think that the money is valuable in itself, and because that we want the money, right? We know that we want what the money will buy. We don't want the money. You can't eat it, right? But we have this feeling you need the money. You have to have the money. So you're going to do whatever you need to do in order to have the money. That's the mind control. So when Alex Collier, for example, talks about, and I'm just assuming that most of your readers know who Alex Collier is, or Corey Goode, you know, the Babylonian money magic system. That's what it is. It's about Babylonian money magic system. So when you recognize that because the money is issued as debt and everybody's in debt and there's never enough money issued so that you could pay back the debt, so you're in a perpetual debt situation, and that in order to live you have to have money, then it becomes really clear that the existential fear that we live in, the fear that we're going to be homeless or destitute or whatever, is actually being generated by the monetary system. So let me stop there for a minute and find out whether I'm clear and whether you're understanding what I'm saying.
Oh, yes, we absolutely, I can hear you loud and clear, and it's very concise in your follow through on what you're saying. And I also want to mention that JP was very instrumental in helping Alex Collier get his information out and doing different types of workshops and things where people could access and participate and also support him as he's he's had some challenges. And also another piece too, as you talked about the Andromedans, is Andronicus, who is the primary feed of information that I get on my show. Andronicus is from Andromeda. So, it's very, very organic. It's very natural. And he doesn't think about the material things as being important. So I just wanted to insert that.
So the distortion of human nature, that money being necessary, you have to earn your living, that idea, that's a complete crock. That's a complete fabrication. It's absurd. As the Andromedans have said, why would you think that the planet you were born on wouldn't totally support you? Okay, so it's like, oh my God, this idea that you have to earn your living is a total crock. Well, of course it's a total crock. It's, it's the basis for the religious control. It's the basis for all kinds of, ways that we're manipulated because it isn't being questioned. So my point is that, the experience that we have as Americans of being really important to the whole world, whether because we've turned into the evil empire, the American empire, or because of the promise of democracy or of freedom. And those are the two things that sort of differentiate America from the rest of the world, or the United States. So if you go back to what it was that allowed the American Revolution and the idea of democracy to overcome the reign of the king, or the monarchy, or the divinely given right of the king to rule, which had been the dominant social form. So if you go back to Greece and Rome, you had a situation where the people had that sense of democracy, but it was a very small segment of the people. And both Greece was overcome with the emperor Alexander and with Caesar. So they both lost their democracy, and we're in the same danger of losing our democracy. We have that experience that actually we've already lost it. How could somebody like Trump being running against somebody like Hillary be our choices for president? That's completely absurd. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. So if it were a real democracy and we had real elections and real choices, that could never happen. So what was it about? What was the American Revolution about? Well, the American Revolution was about the experience that the colonists had, that they were responsible for the conditions that they lived in, for the conditions that they had created. And here's the piece that's really, really important and has been totally suppressed from our history, just eliminated from our history, which, by the way, is because the members of Skull and Bones own all the textbooks companies and run the Department of Education and control in various ways most of the school boards that matter. So our educational system does not give us a real education. It gives us a corporate, indoctrination kind of education. So you never learn how to think. You don't ever experience yourself as independent, as sovereign. But the point is that the piece that's been suppressed is that the reason that the colonists experienced themselves as sovereign, as able to create this whole society that they created, was that they issued their own money. They issued their own money, as Benjamin Franklin said, in proper proportion, so that the goods pass easily from the producer to the consumer. And he goes on to describe how they did it without debt and basically this idea of money. So another thing that nobody knows about the revolution is that during the Revolution, the English had a couple of printing presses, and they printed the colonial money. It was called the Continental. That's where that phrase "not worth a continental" comes from, but nobody's ever heard it, so it doesn't matter. It
I
used to be in
recognize it.
history.
Yeah.
Used to be in the history books. Not worth a continental. Well, it wasn't worth a continental, not because the Continental Congress wasn't able to manage the money supply properly. It was because the British were counterfeiting it. And so at the end of the war, there was a lot of doubt about the validity of paper money. Anyway, I don't want to go into the whole history of money in America, but basically it was the battle for the bank. So Alexander Hamilton established the first Bank of the United States, owned by the same people who owned the Bank of England, who created the modern version of this. Of course, this goes all the way back to the dawn of civilization, which is why Corey Good calls it the Babylonian money magic system, because it's what creates civilization, or the kind of civilization that we know. So that's all I really want to say about the background. So the idea that we could manage without money is a totally valid idea. And there's a fellow in South Africa called Michael Tellinger. I don't know if you're familiar with Michael.
They're talking about him in the chat room right now.
Okay, so Michael Tellinger is working on contributionism, Ubuntu. I am because you are because I am. And that we would manage without money. And here's the interesting thing about that. If you don't have, money is a measure, right? Money is a measure of value. Money is what enables us to make everything in the economy equivalent. So if your civilization is based on the family, the extended family, the clan, and the tribe, and then the nation of tribes, your connection to each other, your extended family connection, means that you don't need money. Everybody's taken care of as a matter of course, as a matter of right. As soon as you're in a situation where you're dealing with strangers, then you want something objective like the price to help you to decide what it is that would be good. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So here's a very interesting thing. Each time you make a transaction, you buy or sell something using money, you do it because it's profitable to you. You don't do it unless it's profitable. You don't make the exchange you're deciding all the time, no, the price of that is too high. I'm not going to do that. Or I'm going to look for a cheaper version of it. Because you want to make sure that every transaction that you make is profitable to you. That is the nature of commerce. That is human nature. Right? It's where we are totally naturally and entirely justified in being completely egotistical. I need to make sure that I'm profiting from every transaction that I make. Whether I'm profiting financially or not doesn't matter. I'm profiting in terms of the progression of my life, right? And the same is true for the seller. So the store, if I buy it at the listed price, then the store is going to be better off as well. It'll be profitable for the store. And so both parties to the exchange benefit. It's profitable for both parties to the exchange. And in conventional capitalism, economics, that is the capital formation process. So if every transaction is profitable for both parties, then in the aggregate, we should all be increasingly better off. We should all enjoy rising standards of living. I mean, that's human nature. And if you think about how much intelligence there is in the economy, it's like hard to believe that we're not, all living like kings. So something's going on. Well, all of that value that's being created by the economy is being siphoned from the people, the vast majority of us, the actual 99.9% of us who do not own the banks. So it's being siphoned from us to the super elite, the super rich, via interest. And all of our money is issued as debt by banks at interest. And so the system is automatically transferring the wealth. Okay, so now it should be reasonably clear that we're in this mess because of the monetary system. And if we are going to become responsible for ourselves, and if we are going to really learn how to be sovereign, and if we are going to learn how to live according to our true nature, in peace and cooperation with each other, in loving, being in a position to express our love all the time. And it's very interesting to recognize that the love just wells up. The love of a mother for her child, or the romantic love, or the feeling that you have every once in a while that you just love everybody in the whole world. Love just wells up. And fear comes at you. Fear arises because I'm never going to be able to pay all these bills. And what happens if I lose my job? And all the rest of that stuff. And the struggle between fear and love would be tremendously mitigated if there was never any issue about how I was going to live. So if we did not have to earn our living, if we just gave each other the material basis for our lives, because the economy can so easily create that, we would have to, in order to be able to do that, we would absolutely have to be in charge of the money. The money would have to be a result of our deciding what to fund, what would be good. Is interest a good idea? No, interest is a terrible idea. Equity's okay, but certainly not interest. And perpetual equity, the fact that you bought the stock in 1920 and it's still generating profit for you, that's pretty weird too. So the point is that if we're deciding together what to issue money for, then we are looking together at what do we value, what's important to us, and the most important thing that we would all be able to agree to is everybody should have the money that their capacities, what they're able to do, what they're called to do, what their destiny puts them in a position to do, the talents that they have. That everybody should have a right to the capital that their capacities warrant. Everybody should be funded to do what they're here for. And we would all be able to agree to that. And if we controlled the money, then the money would never determine anything. The money would simply represent what is and be that unit of value that enables us to recognize whether something that we're doing is valuable or not. So that's our credits. Our credits is a digital currency that Common Good Finance has developed, William Spademan.
Yeah. Hold on a second. So this is the credits that you're talking about regarding Earthlands? Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So go ahead.
Okay. So our credits is the digital currency that William Spademan designed. He's a programmer and an amazing genius. And he's put the whole thing together, and it's a democratically controlled currency. We get to sit down together and decide what would be good, what to issue money for. And because it's integrated into the existing system, the transition is seamless. So, for example, in every one of these interviews with Alex or with Corey or with whoever it is, there's always this question, what can we do? Right? And why are people asleep? And why is it so hard to wake anybody up? And okay, so everybody's waking up. But guess what? if we were sitting down together to decide what is good, that is the experience that I believe would wake everybody up. Why haven't we been doing this all along? And of course, the challenge is to get enough people and businesses involved in the new currency, in our credits, so that there's actually enough money circulating. So we have a pilot project in Greenfield. We have getting on for 20 businesses. We have over 200 people participating, and we're in the process of deciding what to do with about $10,000 that the escrow account doesn't need. So when you sign up for our credits, you put dollars into the system, and we create the same amount of our credits that you put dollars in, right? And we put the our credits in your our credits account, and you spend them at the co-op or the restaurant or the gym or the movie theater or wherever, the hardware store where they're accepting our credits. And the dollars sit in the escrow account. So if the store needs to cash out, if it needs to trade our credits for dollars, there are dollars there for it to do that. To the extent that there are enough places to spend your R credits that you don't need to cash out, to that extent, the dollars aren't spent. Their dollars are available for us to invest in something or to give away or to do whatever with, whatever we decide. And it's when we are deciding what to issue money for to represent the value of the things that we're responsible for, right, that we get the experience of sovereignty. And to my mind, that is the key. That is the thing that we need to understand in order to do ascension. I don't think ascension, I mean, everybody points out over and over again that it needs to be a grassroots effort, it needs to be something that we do together, and then there's nothing to do except meditate. You need to work on yourself. Okay, so everybody's going to go through ascension individually? You know, it's not going to be a real... No, it has to be a result, from my point of view, it has to be a result of doing something together. Namely, issuing the currency for what we agree would be good. How have they controlled?
Well, creating a new paradigm.
Yeah,
create a new paradigm for the way that we want to live, as opposed to being subjected to what has been imposed upon us.
Since the dawn of civilization. It isn't surplus agriculture that creates civilization. It's money. Money is what allows the division of labor. It's what allows people to do one thing, to have a priest class that's supported by the peasants, and then have the craftspeople, you know, the guilds arise. It's all through money, and it was always the sovereign that issued the money. The sovereign has always issued the money. And then when the sovereign became secret, and it was issuing the money in a way that we didn't understand as debt, right? That's when the whole problems begin. That's what happened with Alexander and with Caesar. You go from the Greek Republic or the Roman Republic to the Greek Empire or the Roman Empire, when the emperor takes over the issuing of the currency and makes it gold again, valuable in itself. Anyway,
right. So we're at the top of the hour. Yeah,
I'm sorry about that.
John, no apologies. It was very well said and with a lot of clarity and very, very mind intriguing. JP, did you have anything that you wanted to say to John?
We should get him back for a whole show, maybe a different show, maybe a round table on alternative currencies. I tell you, man, I could talk for hours on. Yeah, I get you. I really get you. I've been living this stuff for 30 years now. So
that's right. Yeah, we've been living this stuff for 30 years, and now we actually have something we could do, namely a democratically controlled digital currency, no transaction cost, or virtually no transaction cost.
Very low footprint.
The cost of a server.
Yeah, low footprint. So listen, we have to go, and thank you very much for coming. And Jessica, any final words?
Thank you for joining us. Answers from the Universe and the Andronicus transmissions. Thank you, John G. Root. You're wonderful, awesome, and you had some great insights and something to think about. Let's recreate the world that we want. JP, thank you. You're beautiful. I love you, and be well.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
See y'all next week.
From the future,